Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to continue reading Earth Dragon Awakes. And for today's lesson, we'll be focused, our learning target for today's lesson is I can connect historical events and scientific ideas to a story. Our vocabulary words for today are afterward and estimate. Afterword is part of the book that tells how ideas for a book came to be. It follows or comes after the main text. It gives information about the real events on which the story was based. Estimate. To give or form a general idea about the value, size, or cost of something. To make an estimate of something is kind of like to guess something. So if I say, guess how tall I am, you're making an estimate, you're making a guess. I want us to remember that The Earth Dragon Awake is an historical fiction novel based on the 1906 earthquake in San Francisco. And today, we will learn some facts about the real earthquake and how the challenges it presented led to change in San Francisco. The most important thing for us to understand for today's lesson is that learners understand that facing challenges leads to change. You should have already gotten a chance to listen to a recording of today's pages 107 to 117. Now, I want you to take a minute or two to think about the answers for these questions. Why did some people set fires in buildings destroyed by the earthquake? Question number 2. Why did the railroad companies claim that most of the destruction was caused by fires? And if you have any questions, you could think about that as well. So I want you to just take a minute just to think about the answers for these questions. All right, boys and girls, I hope you got a chance to think about the answers to those questions. Now let's do our first close reading question. How did the earthquake affect the population of San Francisco? And population has to do with the amount of people living somewhere. Again, how did the earthquake affect the population of San Francisco? Again, I just want you to take like a minute just to think about the answer for this question, and then we're going to go over it. Now let's go over the answers to that question. Before the earthquake, about 400,000 people lived in San Francisco. After the earthquake, the population decreased to about 175,000. What does this mean? It meant before the earthquake, there was a lot of people living in San Francisco. After the earthquake, there wasn't that much people living there. It was over half of the population went somewhere else because of the earthquake. Question number 2. What temporal words does the author use on pages 108 to 109 to show this change? Again, what temporal words does the author use on pages 108 to 109 to show this change? And temporal words has to do with things that are happening or what happened things that are happening. So the temporal words are before and after. So again, temporal words has to do with things that are happening and when they're happening. They happened before, they happened after. Now, boys and girls, we're going to get a chance to do our focus reading. Again, The Earth Dragon Awakes is a fictional story, but the author includes factual information. So even though it's fictional, there's a lot of information that are actual facts. The afterword gives readers details about what really happened during the earthquake. And these facts help readers understand the connection between the story events and the historical events. So let's look at this question. What part of the words afterward lets you know where you would find this text feature in the story? The word after helps you understand that the afterword follows or comes after the main text. Another question. What part of the word preface lets you know where you would find this text feature in the story? The word pre lets you know it's before an introduction to a book or speech. Were text features such as the preface and afterword helpful to your understanding of the story? Why or why not? Possible answer could be yes. Without the preface and afterword, I would not have known that the story was based on a real earthquake. Now it's time for you, boys and girls, to do your task, which is located in Google Forms and on the classroom. And you're going to take about 20 minutes to complete this task. And after you're finished completing this task, I want you to think about the following question. What connections can you make between the events in the story and the facts we learned in the afterword? Again, what connections can you make between the events in the story and the facts we learned in the afterword? Thank you, boys and girls, and see you again.